live. Okay. Alright, so kind of wanted to just, do a little something fun. Which is I wanted to do a little streaming. And I saw this the other day where someone made an Am I the Asshole guesser, which I thought was an interesting concept. I want to see how other people's judgments match up with my own. And, see if it's interesting. Okay, and, yeah. Right. So I feel like... Okay, I feel like this is really interesting. It's interesting how it also has a daily challenge. Okay, you know what? Let's do a little daily challenge, and then after, I think there's gonna be like a few, probably like the Wordle. You can do it however many times, and then you have to do the quick play, I guess. All right, let's jump in straight away to Am I the A-hole guesser? Okay, 1 post out of 3. All right. AITA for singing along to the music that a man in my hospital room was playing out his radio. Interesting. So I got admitted to a hospital today, and I share a room with 2 old men. They look 70 plus. I wanted to read a book, but one of the men kept his radio on all day. I asked him to turn it down, but he said something like, "No, I won't. I love me some radio." I shrugged and just browsed Reddit. But after about 3 hours, I asked him if he can turn it off. But he still denied in a joking manner, so I just started to sing all the songs, and after like 3 songs, he finally turned it off. He keeps giving me the stink eye all the time, though. Am I the asshole? Ooh. Ooh. No, I won't. I love me some radio. Okay, so, see. Oh, I feel like, personally, in this situation, I think both, Like, you're a light asshole, like a light one, but the old people were major. Like, they were bigger assholes than you, personally, because it's a public, I guess it's like a more public place. It's a more public place because it's a hospital, and you're sharing a room. Like, you're not alone. There's more than just you. So I think that's very rude. Yeah, personally, I think it's a situation of everyone sucks here. Well, slight, but I feel like they're more of an asshole, so I think... And also, how he responded is kind of justified, I guess. Like, you were asking politely, and they just said no, so like, you had very little left to do. So I feel like you were kind of justified in your actions, but that doesn't mean you weren't an a-hole. So I say you are. Oh, not okay. I'm very interested to hear what other people... Okay, I can immediately go to the Reddit, which is fine. Okay, that's cool. And not the asshole. It's common courtesy in shared rooms to be respectful of the fact that you are sharing a room. You must have heard some sort of... Okay. So, that's... I think that is what I was thinking. But I was under the impression of, like, you're a slight a-hole for, like, talking, like, singing, but, like, you're justified in your actions, I don't know. Ooh, there are some people who... Okay, look at the spread of these votes. I don't know how you get to -10. What? Oh, down votes. Oh, it's calculating the upvotes and downvotes? That's how that works. Actually, I don't know. Okay, no assholes here though. There's quite a decent amount of people. Okay, I was wrong there. Like, my logic was kind of correct, but I feel like the final judgment was not in alignment. Okay. Am I the asshole for implying my wife looked better before she gave birth? Oh no, the title sounds horrible. Okay. Oh, he says right there. I'm aware the title sounds really bad. My wife, who's 29, gave birth 10 months ago, and ever since then, she's been posting her body online with tons of hashtags. She always goes to the gym now and has been picky with eating anything that she thinks she'll gain weight from. She's been joining and posting pictures on these Facebook mom groups. She keeps trying to look good, which she already does, but I do think she looked better before she gave birth. She recently came back from running and asked me if she looked better before the baby. I just didn't understand. Wait, let me read that again. She recently came back from running and asked me if she looked better before the baby. I just didn't answer before I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I just didn't answer because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I think that's what he meant to say. I left and tried to say sarcastic answers like, you always look good, but she clearly wasn't buying it. Now, she isn't talking to me saying I'm an asshole for hinting at the fact that I think she looked better before she gave birth, but I never told her to her face specifically that this is what I think. Her sister called and said I'm an asshole as well. Interesting. The title made you sound horrible, but that's the power of whoa, clickbait. Jesus, that is the power of clickbait. Ooh, see, I don't know, like, uh, see, this is hard, cause look, I get it. Most of the time, people asking these questions are looking for affirmation, and they are not looking for. They're looking for affirmation instead of genuine, like, opinions, I guess. Like, usually? I don't know. But then again, if you ask the question, it depends on the person, right? Like, if my girlfriend asks me this, I will answer truthfully, but also, truthfully, I do think she looks good no matter what, you know? Like, sure, you might have a preference before or after, but I feel like the better, it's better to know that, oh, I still like you no matter what, you know? But like, sure, I get it. You have a preference, right? You prefer her body before the baby or something. But I don't know. Like, at the end of the day, it is her body. But she did ask you for your opinion and she's mad at your answer. I feel like this is just a case of like, you need to communicate. Like, what did you want me to answer or something? I don't know. This is like a very good question for you to have with your wife. Personally, though, how you went about it, personally, I feel like you are the asshole. You know, you didn't want to answer, but you just said sarcastic answers like, "Oh yeah, that was good." Like, I don't know how you delivered your lines, but I don't know how you delivered your answers. That's the issue here. I don't know. So, I feel like in that sense, probably they're telling him he's the asshole. Yes, you are the asshole. Ooh, that's crazy. I want to know people's reasoning. Okay, let's dive in here a little bit, skim a little bit. You're the asshole. Of course, she likely looked better before the baby. You know what? She knows that. What she was looking for was reassurance and support. Exactly what I was thinking. And I feel like she put on all this work to get to the image she wants now, you know? And I feel like she wants to, she wants to, she wants the thing where it's like, oh, I appreciate your body or something. I appreciate your work. You know what? She knows that. You know that she knows that what she was looking for was reassurance and support, which apparently was too difficult for you. You say you left the room, then gave sarcastic answers. That is bad. That is bad. Ooh. Yeah, that is bad. which honestly is even worse than if you had just said, of course your body has changed since birth, but I find you beautiful as always and will know that you are working very hard to look the way you want. And that's an honest answer and still supports your response was about as bad as you can get. Yeah, I kind of get that. Of course, your body's changed since birth. But I find you beautiful and always will, and knowing that you're working very hard. Okay, but that's a very diplomatic and technically the correct answer. I would say that. But I feel like if you wanted to get your opinion across, like, I don't know, that's a probably pretty big conversation to have, I feel. Yeah, okay. Seeing that one's not bad. Lastly, for the third one, for the dailies. There's goddamn dailies. Am I the asshole for not wanting my mom to buy my kids clothes at thrift stores? Huh. Interesting. I'm not above hand-me-downs from my friends and family group, so it's not about being too good for used things. My husband and I both earn a decent income, and that I would say places us in the upper middle class bracket. Therefore, I feel it is unethical to take from those who are not as well off as us. Ooh. Okay. She bought my daughter, who already has a winter coat, a used winter coat from a thrift store in her hometown, one of which has a very struggling economy. When she found it still had the tags on it and was too beautiful to pass up. My feelings are that, God willing, my husband and I will never struggle to put a coat on our children, that should the day come, I would hope that while our families are not bargain hunting at the local thrift stores. I asked her to donate the coat to a needy family at the next coat drive, but she thinks I'm being ungrateful. Am I the asshole? See, I can see both sides, right? I like to do these, okay? Whenever I see these things, if it's blatantly obvious bad, then of course I would give a direct opinion one way or another. But this one, I feel like I like to, especially more neutral ones, I like to give my opinions on both. And I want to see both sides. And technically, honestly, I can see both, right? On the one hand, you feel you're well off, that you don't need these quote-unquote bargain. Leave this to the peasants. I think I nailed that. I put on a British accent for this. It's like, oh, these peasants, let them have the scraps. I don't need these peasant clothing, I don't need peasant clothing. Let them have their scraps. Fight for them. I don't need, God willing. Okay, that's a bit harsh, but I get it, right? You feel like you can afford things for now, so you feel like you shouldn't take away options from people who might need it. And I think that's fair. I think that's pretty fair. I don't know. I think it's fair. I don't know, but that's just me. But I also see your mom's side. Like, she just wanted to look like you. Okay, I don't know your mom's I don't know what your mom's situation is. She might not be she might be not as well off as you. We don't know. I'm going to assume she just found this gift while bargain hunting, From my experience, old people like that. Yeah, I feel like it's fine. It's a gift. Accept it. I see your logic, but I feel like you're a bit of an asshole because you didn't accept the gift. Just accept it. It's a gift. Who cares? Do you know? I don't know. Personally, I think I see both sides, but personally, I'm leaning towards hey, dude, it's a gift, right? At the end of the day, it's the sentiment, So I feel like you're an a-hole. Yeah. Oh my god. I want to know how people reacted. Let's skim slightly. Okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah, exactly. I think you're misunderstanding thrift stores. They're not something like a food bank. They're generally aimed at earning money through charity for their sales. If they are consignment, or if they're consignment shops, earning money for individual sellers, they're not aimed at the poor. So you're not taking one thing from the poor. Shopping at them is good for the environment, less clothing production, blah, 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 and aids whatever charity is supported. There are sometimes shops aimed exclusively at the needy. that may charge even less or may not charge at all, but those are not most shops. Always buying new is not a moral virtue. Okay, and I get that. But beyond that, if you're given a gift that you don't want, accept it graciously. You could have yourself set aside to give to the next coat drive. Exactly. So, okay. So yeah, I was getting slightly, you're not a total asshole. There are worse out there. But I feel like, the logic still stands. Like, you have your moral compasses and stuff. There's other things you could do. If you don't like it, you can just do stuff, Interesting. So I was wrong once. Now for some quick play. So for more stories. Okay, wait. I'm a hydration break real quick. This is fun. I like just reading these. I feel like I'll do like maybe one more round or two more rounds of this, and then I wanted to go to Best of Redditor updates because I feel like Best of Redditor updates is a very, I don't know, I feel like it's a very, I don't know, Best of Redditor updates feel like the best of the best, and personally, I have not gone through Reddit a lot. So I feel like this is my chance, to go and dive through what people have been going through a lot of. And I want to see the best of the best that people think are the best. All right, let's go. Am I the asshole for asking my professor to continue with the lecture? Ooh. Interesting. Last night, I was in class, which is about 3 hours long. In the middle of our lecture, he went off on a tangent. He does this frequently. About when he used to coach football, and then about an experiment him and some friends once did. I do believe he was getting to a point that was relevant to something in the lecture, but after 10 minutes of rambling, I raised my hand and asked if this was all relevant, and if not, if we could continue with the lecture. Oh my god. He was very surprised and said no one had ever asked that before. He's 70 years old and has been teaching a long time, I presume. Oh, so I began wondering if I was out of line. My original thinking was that I was there to learn the material and he was in essence wasting my time and money by talking for so long about irrelevant things. He did immediately end the story time and finish the lecture without further tangents. So was I the asshole here, or was it reasonable of me to ask what I did? Ooh, see, I get this. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to do this as like a personal thing. I'm not gonna. I want to see if my opinions line up with the people of Reddit. So personally, I think you're not the asshole. You are paying for this. I don't think you're an asshole for asking, can you, teach me instead of rambling? Like sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's good, but that's only if it's like relevant, right? I feel. I don't know, it depends. But if it's like not really relevant to anything, it's just like, oh, I remember my good old days. I remember the good old days. I was a football coach, and I did some experiments with my friends. I feel like that's a bit much. Oh, back in my day. I feel like that's a bit much. I feel like, yeah, you are justified about, don't waste my time and money. I'm here to learn. I don't know. Oh, you're not the asshole. Yeah, not the asshole. Ooh, interesting. A little bit of a split. Quite a few says yes. I want to know why people think that. Is it because it's rude? Okay, so NTA. If you're in college, you're paying good money to be there. If you're not, you're still there for an education and not to learn about football coaching. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Ooh. I think you are the a-hole, and that's only because I firmly believe that even from stories like that, you always have an opportunity to learn something new from someone who has more years than you. You cannot learn new things if you think you know everything. It's rude, no doubt, and it was assholey, but you don't want the teacher to see you as just a number. Don't look at him as just a teacher wasting your time. I also get that, but personally, I also understand them, you know. I also understand the sentiment. So, very interesting though. Ooh, YTA, it's a 3-hour class. A lot of times it's helpful for teachers to break up lecture. Yeah, that's also a good way to look at it. You don't want a straight, like, 3-hour full. You need some breaks. And even the OP acknowledges it. Good point. I wasn't meaning to be disrespectful. Exactly. It's a 3-hour class. There's like, you want to break it up with a little bit of downtime and like a few light-hearted stories. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I see. Okay. A little taste of both sides. I feel like that's good. Am I the asshole for telling my friend that it's weird and incestuous that she occasionally shares a bed with her brother, both in their 20s? Oh no, that is... Ooh, my friend who is... Okay, maybe do I do a southern accent because it's like Alabama-ish? Okay, Alabama-ish? My friend who's 23 just casually revealed to me that she occasionally shares a bed with her 25-year-old brother, despite them living in a house with at least 4 bedrooms. The reason she says they occasionally sleep together in the same bed is for company, since they live in an isolated area so they don't see a lot of other people, which I immediately said it's extremely weird and I felt uncomfortable with the thought of it. See, ooh, interesting. Personally, a bit, it's a bit like, boom. But the way you describe it, the way you told this story, it's very incestuous. What do you mean you share a bed for company? Yo, that, like, why? That's crazy. I don't know. To me, that's crazy. That is highly incestuous and weird. I agree. You know what? You're not the asshole. You're... Whoa. I want to know what makes people say that. But sharing the same bed is insane. Like, a hug, maybe? Or like, sitting next to you. But like, even if it's not, it's weird. I'll be sad incestuous, but it is also weird. I can see your concern, but they're just sleeping in the same bed together and shouldn't be commented on it unless theory would be true, I guess, but still weird. I don't know. Like, I could see that, but I don't know, man. I just, it feels weird. I don't know. Personally, stuff just, okay, interesting. It's just inherently the way I see it. A man and a woman sharing in the same bed is weird, especially if you're adults, you know? But I don't know. I think that's just my way of view, like my viewpoint. Personally, I do think it's weird. I can see why other people might think it's fine, it's harmless. It's still weird for me. That's why I said for me. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Okay, interesting. Am I the asshole for using quote unquote Asian as a descriptor for a food section? What? Okay, so I was a target getting some candy and snacks. When a friend said she wanted some Pocky, I said they probably have an Asian section with it. Another customer overheard me. He then loudly and indirectly spoke to his wife saying, "What the fuck is an Asian section? What the fuck?" I heard him say it multiple times. I felt like I completely missed what I did. And when he came by me, I said, "Sorry, sir." He didn't acknowledge me and kept saying, "The fuck is an Asian section?" along with other ramblings. So what exactly do I do? What exactly did I do? Yes, he was of Asian descent. Okay. You know, It's it's a fucking snack. I it's it's weird. Okay. I can see why. Like there is an Asian section in some places like, oh, imported snacks. Actually, yeah. It's like there's no, okay, I don't know about I've heard, I don't live in places that have those, but personally there are like traditional markets and stuff, and they would put like, oh, these are imported goods, but they usually just combine them by category and not by like, these are Asian, these are like, it's imported or, you know, local. I'm like, yeah, you're a bit of an asshole. Really, not the asshole. I could also see that because, they're, well, on the outside, there are, you know, Asian sections a lot. I don't know. Interesting though. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I could see that. Like, it's like just a descriptor. I feel like he's rude in how he say, like, the guy who overheard it was rude. It was like you didn't need to say all that, you know? You didn't need to say all that. I don't know. Like the way he, I think it was like a reasonable enough reaction. Not okay, not the guy who ordered it, but it's like, oh yeah, I think they have an Asian section for that. Sure, maybe there could be an Asian section, because normally, at least on the outside of my country, there are Asian markets, food markets, Asian sections in grocery stores. Probably, I don't know. Never been outside, but interesting though. So that was the guesser game. But now I kind of want to read some Best of Redditor updates because it's very interesting. I want to know some of the goats. Okay. Ooh. I want to know this from the title. It's juicy. Okay. Wow. So, the title is my 34 male ex-wife, 32 female, divorced me after she got cancer so that she could quote unquote leave first. Now she wants to come back. Should I give her another chance? Wow. Okay, so the original post was posted in 2023 on relationship advice. Okay. I met my wife, I'll call her Anna, during our first year of university. We dated through university and got married right after her graduation. Things were happy for about a while until Anna discovered a lump in her right breast. I encouraged her to have it checked out. She was reluctant to do so, but ultimately did because breast cancer runs in her family, and sure enough, that is what she had. Oh god, wait, hold on. Oh, that was bad. Sorry. I burped. The good news, if it can be considered good news, was that the breast cancer she had was extremely treatable with chemo and radiation. Based on her family history, her doctor also recommended a double mastectomy for her. This put Anna in a really dark place. I suggested she go to therapy, but she outright refused and said she never wanted to hear me suggest that again. Okay. So the doctor recommended like her breast to be, removed. She was in a really dark place. So I suggested she go to therapy, which is a reasonable request, right? Never wanted to hear that suggestion again. Is holy. Okay, I mean, I realize she's in a dark place. That's what I'm like looking at this from. Like she's hurt. She's in gloom and doom mode, I guess, for now, All right, continuing. So I did my best to be encouraging and supportive to her. I took time off work to be at every appointment with her. I took on 100% of the household chores, both inside and out. I did all of the shopping. I drove Anna everywhere she wanted to go. I planned out special dates for us. I gave her an hour long foot massage every night. I literally did whatever I could. About 6 weeks into her treatment, ooh, oh no, Anna brought up the idea of going to stay with her sister Sarah for a week. This honestly relieved me as I was burning the candle at both ends trying to accomplish everything, and I thought some time apart would help us both. 2 nights into her stay with Sarah, Anna called me, and said she wanted a divorce. Holy what? Okay, wait, it wasn't the title. Why am I surprised? She said she had read a lot about men who abandon their wives when their wives get sick, and that she was determined to leave me before I could leave her. That is such stupid fucking logic. What? That just sounds like an excuse. Why? Why? um, this is like, okay, but I can see people who fuck up and stuff do that. Like, hurt people, basically, right? I don't want to get hurt, so I'll hurt you first. That's dumbass logic, but I can see why. Like, I've seen people do it. That's so dumb. Oh my god. I'm gonna leave you first. Jesus. I can't put into words how much this crushed me. I loved my wife. She was my everything. I begged her to reconsider. I told her I'd never thought of leaving her, not even once. I asked her again to go to therapy. She refused again. I asked her to go to couples therapy with me. She wouldn't. I asked her what I could do to convince her I wanted to stay. She said there was nothing. I'm a man, and therefore I would leave. End of story. That's stupid, and that's fucked up. But if that's her choice, you tried to fight, but I guess. Okay. All right. Oh, I see a little bit of an update there. Okay, so I know. Okay. It took about a year because of where we live, thanks to COVID, but eventually everything was finalized. I ended up selling the house and splitting the proceeds between me and my now ex-wife. I didn't want to stay in that town anymore, so I put in a transfer request at my job and ended up moving to a town about 2 hours away. For the past couple of years, I've been focused on myself more. I got a dog. I've been on a few dates, but nothing serious. I picked up hiking as a hobby and started gardening. Out of the blue, Anna called me 3 weeks ago. She said she'd been in town on a trip with friends that saw me, and all of her old feelings rushed back. She said she was sick and out of her mind at the time, and that I couldn't hold her words or her actions against her. She said she still loved me, and that she always had, and that she regretted leaving me. She begged me to give her another chance. I'm so confused. If I'm being honest, I still love Anna, but no longer in love with her. She broke my heart. I was devastated when she ended things. It took me a long time to get my head on straight. But I also know she really was in a bad place because of the cancer. Do I owe it to her and what we had to hear her out? I'm scared if we reconnect. I'll always feel like she'll have one foot out the door. But maybe that's unfair. I don't know what to do. Should I give her another chance like she wants? Interesting. That is so interesting. Okay. So, personally, like, I've seen people who are in a dark place go through these things, right? When they're not thinking straight, they just lash out and do stuff, you know? They don't think. Their actions are illogical and they just act on their feelings. And like I've seen, I've heard of and I guess kind of experienced like people like that. So it's like, oh, I don't want you to hurt me, so I'll hurt you first, you know? Like that type of shit. It's like, and you try to convince her. And so, yeah, I don't know. Personally, this is a tough choice. Like on the one hand, I get it, but if you don't love her, don't. Like, are you in love with her? Like, if you want to try and talk things out, I guess, sure. But I feel like it would be rough for both of you. Like, that lingering thought, like, I understand the concerns, of course. As he said, you would be worried. Like, what if this happens again? Right? You would need assurances, and I feel like this would be if you were to give her if you were to give her a chance, this would be an insane amount of talking or communication that's needed in order to do this. Yeah, this is very interesting. So, personally, depends. I feel like I would talk and, like, discuss this whole thing, you know? It would depend on your feelings, honestly. Like, do you feel like you can go back and do you want to go back? You know? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What's this? Oh, I forgot about this. Wait. Okay, wait. I probably should put this. This is crazy. Yeah, this is good. Okay. I forgot I had this. Okay. So yeah, personally, I think personally I think it's up to your feelings, honestly. If you don't have feelings towards her, like if you don't or if you're not in love, I guess. I mean, I don't know, talk things out, see how it is. Like you discuss this definitely if you want to. If you don't, that's cool too. Like you have moved on. If you don't want to reopen old wounds, that's completely up to you. Alright, let's go into the update. That's my fucking 2 cents. I don't know. I want to talk about this shit. Oh, okay. Update is 3 days later. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who left comments on my original post. I now know what people mean by when they say rip my inbox. Okay. So a lot of people have feelings. All right. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who left comments on my original post. I know what people mean when they search my inbox. I posted that and went to bed never expecting it would blow up so much. By the time I woke up, the post was locked, not sure why. So I couldn't respond to any comments, but I read as many as I could and tried to take everything into consideration. Many of you suggested I reach out to my ex-wife Anna for an in-person conversation. The overwhelming consensus was that meeting her in person would tell me all I needed to know, and you were right. Exactly what I was thinking, honestly. Like, I feel like if you were curious and if you wanted to, then have a conversation at least, right? Give yourself that closure, I guess. No, maybe not closure, but like, see it, feel it out, what's the harm, I guess, and unless you're not okay with that, that's always a thing. Sorry, hydrating. Okay, that seemed reasonable to me. I texted her and she jumped at the chance to meet, and we did so yesterday after I was done with work. I chose to ask her to meet at a local coffee shop. Maybe it sounds bad, but I didn't want to meet her at my house or anywhere private just in case. That's a good choice. A very neutral public setting for the conversation is good. Especially, you don't know what's going to happen, right? There might be a scene and you don't want that to be public just in case. Anyways, Anna was already there when I got there. She got up and hugged me. I let her, but didn't hug her back. Then we sat down. I asked her to remain quiet while I talked, and then I told her everything. I'm gonna sum it up here because I honestly don't remember everything I said. I think I talked for like 10 minutes straight while she just sat there and teared up. Oh god. Okay. But I told her things like okay, wait. But I told her things like how much she had devastated me. I told her that I would have stuck with her through thick and thin and no matter what. And I told her that I loved her and that hadn't changed after her diagnosis or treatment plan. I told her that I was broken after she initiated the divorce. I told her how hard it was for me to pull myself back together. Ooh. A lot of you pointed out that if Anna and I got back together, I should be worried about what she would do the next time she got sick or if I got sick, and you were right. So I told her that too. And she got mad and interrupted me at that point. Ooh, okay. Why? She said I was being unfair and that I wasn't taking into consideration. I haven't taken into consideration her mental health at the time. She said she wasn't thinking straight and that now she was, but that now she was. I took the chance to ask her if she'd been to therapy. She told me she hadn't, and that she had no plans to, and that she didn't need it. I have to admit, that crushed me a little. Yeah, what? What? The fuck? You need therapy, girl. Like, sort this shit out. Your feelings. You're crazy. Like, this flipping shit. Okay, maybe that's a bit too far, but like, why are you so against the idea? You know? I feel like people could do with therapy. Everyone can do a little therapy. I would love to get therapy, but that shit's expensive, and I don't have the money. So, I feel like it's fair, you know? But also, that kind of sucks for the guy. I don't know. Uh, yeah, like, it's a fair assumption. Like, it's okay. I'm gonna, like, interrupting this. A little quick tangent. Like, what? I don't know. Like, what if he does get sick or she does get sick again? Are you gonna let that slide? Like, you did this because you were in that mental state and you don't want to fix, not fix, but like, you don't want to go to therapy or do anything. And you just like, yeah, well, you didn't take into consideration. Yeah, okay, then what if you get back together, you get sick again? You're just gonna split up because your mental state? That's a bit much. Of course I would like a reassurance. That's a bit unfair. Okay, so, sorry, to continue. I asked her why, just why. It's the one question I've really wrestled with over the months, and she said that she had gone looking for support groups and found a lot of women who had stories about their partners leaving. She even mentioned Reddit, funnily enough. She said she talked it through with her sister Sarah. Anna said that Sarah, to her credit, had tried to dissuade her from divorcing me, but that between social media and some of Anna's friends, Anna felt like she had to go through with it to be seen as a strong woman. That's okay. Little quick thing. That's stupid as fuck. You want to be seen as a strong woman. So your image is, whoa, that's crazy. My image is more important than my relationship with this partner who's been nothing but good to me. I will forsake you for that image. That's crazy. Yeah, nah, I would not. That's crazy. Holy shit. That is word for word what she said to me. I don't remember anything else exactly, but I will never forget that. She broke my heart and threw away our relationship because somehow in her mind that translated to being strong. That's so stupid. I agree with you, King. She then started trying to tell me we could get back together again, but at that point, I just told her flat out that wasn't happening. Oh my god. What it comes down to for me is that I just can't trust her. I would not too. She hasn't addressed a single thing. All she did was blame her mental state. Like, and that's it. No accountability whatsoever. Okay, anyways, I would always be worrying about the same thing happening again. It's true. She cried a lot and tried convincing me for a little while. When I got up to leave, she threw her iced coffee in my face and stormed out. Bitch! Crazy. Nah, yeah, that's hard stop. So yeah, we're definitely not getting back together. I have the closure I wanted, always wanted. I wish it felt better. I've been dwelling on it for the past day and a half. I kept wondering if there's something I could have done better, some way I could have saved our relationship, but I know there's not. I blocked her number. I kind of hope I never hear from her again. True. Yes. That is good. That's good. Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. All right. I like that. Like, I think that's a good end, you know? I'm glad the OP didn't go back because that would have been very bad. I don't know. Personally, I would not enjoy that. I would, like, if I had a friend in this situation, yeah, I would say the same thing. Like, don't. Like, what the fuck? Of course I wouldn't trust her. And she hasn't given me a reason to trust her afterwards, which is crazy. Okay, let's see. Daughter accused of plagiarism at university concluded. Okay, there's two here. That's pretty wild. I've been with my girlfriend. I think I've been breaking up with them because what? Okay, 3 stories. My boyfriend is family written music because I don't do with this LC. That's wild. Okay. My boyfriend tried to screw over my best friend at work. I told her and she got fired. Blames me now and must pick him or her. Ooh, some of these are insane. Okay, I have 3. I kind of want to blaze through these. I don't know. Okay. So, me, 51 female, with my daughter, 19 female. Daughter accused of plagiarism at university. Interesting. Is this long? Okay, not that long. Alright, let's do this. So the original post was made in 2016, 10 years ago. My god. My daughter has always been a good kid and a good student. She's in first year university, and like many of us, myself included, she found it overwhelming. She's been keeping up with the work and getting decent grades, but for a recent English essay, she Googled other people's ideas and pulled a few sentences from their work. Her professor found out, and now she's facing a disciplinary hearing. She may just get an F on the essay, or she might fail the entire course. She doesn't know until the hearing, which won't be for a couple of weeks. She's freaking out, of course. She's never faced anything like this before. She's ashamed and frantic with worry. I guess I'd like to ask, has anyone gone through something like this? How can I help her? Ooh, I don't know. See, I don't know. Okay. I want to know the relevant comments. I haven't been through this. I have served as an honor board at a major liberal arts school for 3 years. It is crazy what kids think they'll get away with. I'm talking entire Wikipedia articles passed off as an assignment. If it's a few snippets here and there and her first offense, then she needs to spend more time seriously contemplating and integrating what kind of serious theft this is. How would she feel if someone took her crafted piece and passed it off to her? Probably livid. She needs to do that before she goes to the hearing. She needs to be upset, not because she got caught, but that she was stolen in the first place. That is what they want to see. I've pulled a few sentences from, yeah, okay, honestly, this is a bit, I don't know, I feel like she's not really giving us the whole story. Like, it's very few, like, she's just pulled a few sentences, like, okay, that's just straight up plagiarizing. Like, maybe, like, you read something and you're, like, rephrasing the idea, I guess, that's a way. But if you copy-pasted that shit, yeah, I can see why. No begging, no pleading. Quite frankly, we really do not care about extending user customers, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so basically, own it. She messed up, and she needs to own it. Okay. I agree with everything you said. She definitely knows she messed up, and that's not going to protect everything. I told her to admit. Okay. All right. 6 weeks later. Okay. First of all, I'd like to say that I goofed the title on the original post. She wasn't accused of plagiarism. That implies that she didn't do it. She did do it. She told me a bit more about what had happened. While researching her paper, she took a bunch of notes, including some comments she'd found on the internet. She didn't cite her sources. Big mistake. And when it came time to write her paper, she mixed up what she'd found online and what she'd come up with on her own. She had a meeting with an advocate who prepared her for what the hearing would entail. She was warned that the most common punishment was to receive an F on the paper and F on the course, so she was prepared for that. There was still some classes remaining before the hearing could occur, plus the final exam. She attended all of the classes, studied her butt off for the final, and did her very best on it. She had her hearing last week. She did what I recommended, and a lot of you recommended, explained what had happened, but didn't try to make excuses. The prof was very understanding and heard what she had to say. The prof commented that it reflected well on my daughter and that she had continued to attend class and write the final. Many people would have said, the heck with it, I'm going to fail anyways, and not bothered to show up. Daughter found out last night that she received an F on the paper, which is worth 15% of her final grade, but not on the course. The prof had told her that she had done very well on the overall course, so she'd hoped that means she'll pass the course. The prof drummed it into her head that she made a dumb mistake, and things won't go nearly as well for her if she does it again, and I hope she's learned her lesson here. That's good. Okay. A decently short one. Okay. This one might be long. Holy. Ooh, I don't know which one I'll read first. I feel like the other one's juicier. Mental health struggles. Trigger warning. Oh no. Fiance, 23 female, left me, 25 male, for someone she met at the gym. What now? Oh my god. This is gonna be long. I'm gonna need a little bit of hydration for this. Holy shit. Wow. This is wild. The original post was posted this year. Holy shit. April 4th, 2026. Hi everyone. I, 25 male, was in a relationship with my fiance, 23 female, for 3 years. I proposed in October 2025, and up until recently, I genuinely thought we were happy. Last week, she told me she'd met a guy at the gym. Over a few weeks, they got to know each other and that she had developed feelings for him. When he asked her out, it made her question our relationship, and she decided to end things. Oh my god. I'm still trying to process it, and the shock had worn off. And now it's just heavy. I'm dealing with anxiety, poor sleep, no appetite, and can't focus properly. I wear a smartwatch, and even my resting heart rate has been noticeably higher. I've got a high pressure job, and I'm worried that this is going to start affecting my performance. I'm already going to the gym daily and taking magnesium and melatonin, but I still feel constantly on edge and nauseous. So, seriously, I feel like I could vomit throughout the day. If anyone has been through something similar, how did you cope in these first few weeks? How do you calm your body down, sleep better, and start to feel even a little bit normal again? Is there any medication I can take to help with the anxiety and nausea? I'd really appreciate the advice because it would help me greatly through a challenging time. Thank you. And there's an edit. I woke up over through comments, blah, 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 I wasn't okay. Advice. Okay. The edit is nice. It's just, acknowledgement and thanking for all of the things. There's a top comment, but I feel like, okay, I'll read like a few of the short ones. I shouldn't. I'll just glance through it. First, the relationship is over. Yes, it is. I feel honestly, if it's that easy for her to break it off, that's crazy. Like, why did you like if you're struggling and if it's that easy, then I guess she's already like done. I wouldn't do anything, honestly. That sucks. Okay, be glad you're young and you didn't get married. She did you a huge favor. Hard to see right now, though. True, it's very hard to see right now, but yeah, that is fortunate that it didn't come to marriage. Or at least it didn't get to the marriage yet. It was still in the, proposal, right? The engagement was still there, but it's not, like, oh, we're married and we have kids and this happened. Like, thank God it didn't get bad, I guess. I guess there's an upside to that. I don't know. Okay. The update is 4 months later on August 4th, 2026. That's like a week ago. That's crazy. Okay. Wow. Hello, everyone. Around 4 months ago in April, I made a post here at what was probably the lowest point of my life. I wanted to come back with an update, partly to thank everyone who took the time to reply, but also in the hope that someone currently in the position I was in might read this and realize that things really can get better. That's good. First of all, thank you to everyone who told me she would be back. I remember thinking it was strange that so many people said the exact same thing. At the time, I didn't really understand why. Lol, I still don't know what the psychology behind it is behind it. Well, you were all right, of course. Like, okay, small tangent. That is like what happens usually, right? People in these like spur of the moment decisions, like heat of the moment, not really thinking, they're like, I did this and I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I regret my decision. Like, okay, lived with that. That's on you, you know? Anyways, continuing. 2 months ago in June, oh, hmm, I got a call. She told me she'd been dating the guy from the gym, and unsurprisingly to everyone here, she'd slept with him several times. She said she'd woken up one day and realized she'd made a mistake and was willing to do anything to make the relationship work again. Of course she did. My God. I declined and politely asked her not to contact me again. I also blocked her and her friends and her family. Good for you, King. Good for you. Had it not been for the advice from so many people on my original post, I genuinely think I might have given in. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Today, I'm in a much better place and genuinely happy with my own company. I wanted to share a few things that really helped me. I stopped isolating myself. Instead of lifting weights alone, I started trying different classes at the gym. I ended up really enjoying them and met some great people that way. That's good. I think that's a really good way to, deal with this. I went on a 2-week solo trip. Oh my God. I took myself out for meals, explored new places, and just enjoyed my own company. I read a lot of books people recommended in the comments. No More Mr. Nice Guy was the one that resonated with me the most. Okay. I don't know what that book is, but good for you. I leaned on my family and existing friends. I made a point of arranging lunches and coffee catch-ups instead of sitting at home. That's good. Okay. I started counseling. Being able to say everything out loud to someone with no personal bias helped far more than I expected. Look at that. Therapy or counseling or just getting to voice your feelings work. Okay. Most importantly, I embraced the time alone and journaled a lot. I learned a lot about who I am outside of that relationship and wrote down the things I wanted from my life. I've only recently started dating again, and it's actually been enjoyable. I'm not rushing into anything. It's simply been nice meeting new people and learning about different personalities. Healing isn't quick, but the damage from the breakup definitely affected me. I still have some reservations about dating, but I've also learned about the boundaries I will never compromise on again. If you're reading this because you're going through something similar, please believe me when I say this. It doesn't feel like it now, but it really does get better. The person who walked away wasn't the right person for you. And to everyone who took the time to comment on my original post, thank you. Your advice genuinely changed the direction of my life. That is awesome. I don't think I need to do anything else, but yeah, that's awesome, bro. That's really good. That's really cool. I think that's an awesome, awesome thing. Really cool guy. Yes. Oh, what the fuck is that? How do I do this? Can I do things? So yeah, I think that's a really good I think that's a really good thing. Really cool, really cool. That's an awesome reaction to this whole thing, personally. And I'm glad that guy was at least, done with the whole thing. And I'm glad that he was able to hey, hold on. Whoops. That was my background. Yeah, I'm a weeb. So what? But anyways, I'm glad that that guy was able to move on and, better himself. I think that's a really cool and really important step, especially with the whole thing. I don't know. I feel like he worked on himself, and that's great. And it's crazy that it actually happened. The whole thing was like, oh, you know, I actually regret everything, and I want to be better. I want to make this work again. Oh, boo-hoo. Well, sucks for you, guy. You know, and that's not your fault. I think that's good, and I feel like you should feel that way. I feel like being I feel like that's a good thing to do personally. Like, oh, I don't need this, and I don't want to. So yeah, you didn't need to deal with that, and I think that's awesome, personally. So yeah. Okay, that was sorry. I was a little bit distracted because of some stupid shit happening. Anyways, I think I'll do one last story here, which is great. Let's go ahead and do that. All right. So this one is pretty interesting. I have been with my 33 female, have been with my boyfriend 31 male for a year and 3 months. I'm thinking about breaking up with him because he doesn't like that I just give expensive gifts and money to my parents. Wow. Trigger warning. Whoa. That's a big trigger warning. Mentions physical violence. Wow. Holy. Hmm. Okay. I think there's gonna be a bit of a maybe domestic violence in here. That's kind of wild. Okay. Well, here goes nothing. Uh, First, I want to apologize because it might be a long one. I'm freaking out a little and need some advice from strangers. I want to just give some background on everyone involved here first. Most of us are doctors. I finished residency last year and he's still in residency. We met at the hospital where we work. We got into a fight because he saw me buying a plane ticket for them to come visit me. I boxed the paragraphs you can skip if it's too long. Okay, so we get a bit of the gist. Both of my parents were doctors. I see. Okay. Both of my parents were doctors. They both made a lot of money, especially when you combine their income. However, we have lived as a middle class family. While their peers and friends lived in fancy properties, some of them more than one, and nice luxury cars, we were pretty much your average suburban household. Wait, hold on. Shall we? 1 second. Okay, wait. Whatever. Okay. They were your average suburban household. This is because they have always liked to be frugal when it comes to spending money on themselves. They would send money to Mexico for their family every month and give to charity. And when I started middle school, they started doing Doctors Without Borders. And when I was 16, they used to take me to their medical missions to see how fortunate I was. The thing that they do like to spend a lot of for themselves is traveling. I've been to so many countries before I was 18 and learned so much, but even then, we were pretty frugal. While they can afford fancy hotels, they choose not to. Recently, they've been using Airbnb. My mom does collect bags though. One time I caught her looking at Louis Vuitton bags online. One was worth $1,000 and I asked her why she doesn't buy one. She said that it doesn't make sense for her to buy something that expensive just for her. So I told myself that that's the first thing I would do when I make it. That's really sweet. Another thing they spend a lot of money on is me. One time when I was in college, I told them I had a backache and that they bought me a Tempur-Pedic. I never even asked for it. I also got a new car when I got into college. I got to do study abroad as well because of their money. I started working part-time jobs because I didn't want to didn't want to take advantage of my parents. They were really already paying for my tuition and rent. All I had to pay for was utilities and food, so I was able to put a lot of money in my savings from their help. When I got to medical school, I couldn't work as much, but they still provided for me. When I finally finished school and started residency, they retired and moved back home to Mexico. Their retirement and savings allowed them enough money. They don't need any help from me. I'm guessing their savings and retirement was enough. Okay, I got to keep the house, which is already paid for. I just had to pay for property tax and utilities. It's a 4-bedroom home, so my boyfriend and 3 other people live with me. What? We all divide the cost of the property tax and utilities, so it comes out to about $400 a month. When you are working as a resident, you still aren't making that much money. It's only enough to get by. Given that I live in an expensive city, $400 monthly is really helpful. Okay, interesting. So here's the problem. Thank you. If you're still here, by the way, I'm very grateful to my parents. While my colleagues have about $200,000 in debt, I barely have any loans. I've always wanted to give back to my parents because of this. So when I was done with residency and started making a lot, I finally bought my mom a Louis Vuitton purse and my dad this helicopter toy he likes. That is so cute. I also took them out to a nice fancy dinner. When I gave them their gifts, my mom started crying and told me to return it because it's too much. I told her she needs to keep it and I will be offended if she didn't. We then had a nice heart-to-heart and told them that I am who I am because of them, and they told me how proud they are of me. I told my boyfriend about this, and he just said, ugh, she's so emotional, which is true, she cries easily. Your boyfriend's a bitch. Okay, your boyfriend's a fucking dickhead. What the fuck is that? Ugh, she's so emotional. That's a sweet thing to do. Shut up. Such immature reactions. Crazy. And he should be demolished for my god, that's so dumb. Anyways, sometimes I'll randomly send my parents cash if I have extra after spending my money on important expenses, shopping, and my savings. I'll tell them to use it on themselves for fun. Now I know that I won't always do this because when I have a family, I'll be prioritizing them. I know this because it's what my parents tell me, but I want to do this while I can. It makes me happy. My boyfriend and I got into a huge fight today because he saw me buying them a plane ticket to come here. He told me that I already bought myself a ticket to see them. Why do I still have to buy a ticket for them to come here? That should be their expense. It's true they can afford it, however, they can only afford to see me maybe once a year since they're only relying on retirement money. I would like to see them at least more than that. He says they've created a spoiled, rotten child. This bitch needs to shut the fuck up. Anyways, more of my thoughts later. Saying that my parents enabled me by giving me so much, this confuses me because when I do something for my parents, he tells me how codependent they are, and it's their job as parents to help me. I then called him a hypocrite and told him he's basically living off of my parents by living in the house they paid for. And if he doesn't like it, then he should just live in a $2,000 apartment like everyone else. He's in a hotel now, and he said he will come home tomorrow morning. I honestly don't know what to do after that fight. There was a lot of yelling, and he destroyed his sentimental vase my grandmother made for me. Do I suggest couples therapy? I'm really in tears as I write this because he's the first serious boyfriend I've had in a long time. Girl. Edit. My roommate slash best friend just came home, and I've told her what happened. She actually told me some red flags about my boyfriend that I'd never noticed before. We're going out to talk some more, and so I will update and reply to everyone else. Thanks for all the helpful advice. I've read them all and took them all to heart. Yeah. I think you should have the talk, because these are insane red flags. His attitude is shit. What the fuck? What? Ugh, feelings. She's so emotional. She needs to shut up. No, you need to shut up. And also, oh, they've created a spoiled rotten child. You're a spoiled rotten. What the? Shut the fuck up. You don't know what a spoiled rotten child is. She's insanely good and a good person. What? This response is crazy. This dude needs to go, bro. This dude is insane. Nah, you need to break it off. Because, what? What do you mean by that? He needs to never return. And also, what? These comments are insane. And also, destroying property? Yeah, that's a big red flag. I would not be safe. I would not feel safe. That's crazy. Okay, relevant comments. I created my first Reddit account to tell you, don't you dare let that man back in the house your parents worked for. He destroyed a vase your abuela made you. What the fuck are you thinking? Do you think they worked so hard and loved you so well for you to crap all over your own self-respect by being with a man who would do such a thing? That guy is a capital L loser who wouldn't know love if it bit him in the face. Hope is a good breakfast, but it's a bad supper. This man has shown you who he is. Don't you dare spit in your family's face by making this asshole a part of it. A good sum up of what I think personally. Oh, thanks for taking the time to make an account for me. Haha, I love your username. Think if your abuela. Okay. Think of your abuela. I stopped crying for a bit, but this comment made me tear up again because you're right. Insanely accurate. Okay. And the update was nearly 2 months later, May 5th, 2016. Okay, I wrote this update about a month ago, so this happened the day after the original thread. So here's the link to the old thread. Thanks for all the positive comments. I just want to address some questions I got asked before updating. I can box that section again, and you can skip if you're not interested. The update will be below that. Hold on. Okay. There was point about how my parents and blah 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 blah. Okay, I don't care. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't care. I just want to get to the story, the update. Okay, update. By the way, these quotes aren't exact words we said. I just think it's easier to read with quotation marks. Okay. My best friend came home as I was reading your replies. I told her what happened, and she told me that it's honestly not that surprising. We then decided to talk at a small bar, and she told me that there were many things that she didn't like about him. Same. She was actually surprised I dated him in the first place. I have a friend that I feel like... Okay. Girl, really? Let's just say I have a friend who's in a very similar situation, and I was like, really, girl? Really? First of all, there's no denying that he's an ambitious person. While I had everything easy, he didn't. He depended on no one to get to where he is today. However, she told me that he's also a very intense person. At the hospital, he's very hard to work with. When interns make a small mistake, he will ask them what school they graduated from. If it's a prestigious school, he will flat out tell them, what, do they take anybody now? And if it's a lower tier school, he'll say, well, no wonder why. He made one volunteer who's an undergrad cry at one point. Your boyfriend's a bitch. Oh, I hate him. I would sock him in the face. Anyways, at home, he's just as difficult to live with, she says. For example, if my roommates cook something, they'll usually eat and then wash the dishes after they're done eating. However, if he sees them eating and the dishes are there, he'll say something like, wow, there are some lazy people here, or do I have to wash everything? She said that even leaving a fork becomes an issue. This dude needs to shut the fuck up. My God. Like, wow. Okay. I'm not proud of this part, but I kind of got mad at her for a minute. Girl, I was drunk at that point and needed someone to blame and asked her why she let me waste my time with someone without telling me all of these red flags. She told me that these issues were just minor problems and she didn't feel the need to get in the way over something trivial, especially since I was happy with him. However, she said that this fight we got into now is not trivial and advised me that it isn't something I should let go. True. What a good friend, and a true friend at that. This is crazy. Okay, so she suggested we grab some more wine and pack up his things. It was so fun just being so drunk and attempting to fit everything in a small suitcase. Honestly, we spent more time laughing than packing. The next day he came home. At that point, I was 85% sure breaking up with him, but I still wanted to hear what he had to say. Girl, just break up with him, girl. I would just have the best friend there just in case, because I don't trust her, for sure. Sometimes people make mistakes and you can really see if a person's worth it by how they fix them. Sure, benefit of the doubt, how they react afterwards, but personally, it's not a blip. It's a constant thing. I wouldn't. He's dangerous. Anyways. Ooh. Before he went home, he just kept texting me about how he's sorry about the way I took his criticisms. Excuse me? That's stupid. And he said that it's actually good that someone criticizes me instead of kissing my ass like everyone else. So not really an apology. Yeah, it's not an apology. What? I'm sorry about the way I took his criticisms. That's literally, I'm sorry you feel that way. Shut up. I hate his ass. I would beat him. Sorry. Actually, not sorry. Anyways. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. When he saw the suitcase, though, he started to apologize and said he was wrong. Oh, now you're apologizing. Shut yo, bitch ass up. Have you guys ever heard a child apologize? You know, that tone they make when they just trying to say what they know their parents want to hear so be done with already? That's how he started. Okay, wow. Then there was some silence and then they just said, well, what about the vase? And he says, what about the vase? I just look at him and don't give him an explanation because he should know what about the vase. So I wait for him to give an explanation. He says, okay, I'm sorry, that was mean. Maybe we can probably take the pieces, dull them out and make them into a charm bracelet. I told him if I wanted a bracelet, I would have asked for one. I wouldn't say this out loud, but I kind of like the bracelet idea. Okay, girl, shut up. But I like the idea. It was like you suggested. This user, Elsa, thank you, this user, for offering to restore it. Yeah, this guy is insane. What the fuck? Ugh, it's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. It was a lapse in judgment. I wouldn't do it again. I love you. I hate this dude, bro. Okay, there was another awkward silence, so I spoke. Do you know how annoying it is for me to do something nice for my parents and then there's negative Nancy on my shoulders shaking his head or making rude comments? You take away the moment when you do that. So he said, yeah, I can see how that's annoying. I'm just worried that if we get married, you'll always have your family. Your parents themselves always send money to their parents, and I didn't want that to be something I have to look forward to. It can become a burden. Oh my god. Shut your bitch ass up. Okay. Yeah, you guys are just different. Break up. Okay. I told him I didn't believe that was the reason. And if it was, even if it was just horrible to think that helping family members is a burden. I said, you know full well that my parents don't need our help. If anyone was going to be a burden, it's you and your loans. I know that sounds horrible, but I was really angry at that point. But also, that point is very fair. Yeah, the parents did nothing but help, you know, with the house, with the payment of the schooling and stuff. While he's just here, bitching about everything. And also, debt. Okay, so he told me that that's exactly what the problem was. He has loans and I don't. Okay? So get out. And that I'm just so lucky in my life. Shut your business. Okay, sorry, I need to keep reading. I told him I know I'm lucky, and I'm glad he recognizes I'm lucky, so what's the problem? But he went on, do you think you would have been a doctor without your parents' help, and maybe you got into a school with their connections? I told him, if I was going to use my connections, that I would have tried to get into his school, or my parents' school. He and my parents went to prestigious medical schools when I went to an sorry. While I went to an average one, he replied by saying that that's the difference between the two of us. While he's ambitious and won't settle for less, I'll be happy with an average school. I hate him. He needs to perish. Get out of her life. Ugh, it's like talking to a brick wall. Exactly. Wow. It's almost like this thing is happening in like another situation I know. Anyways, either I'm using my parents for connections or I'm not ambitious enough. At that point, I was just so exhausted. I was hungover and his voice sounded like nails on a chalkboard. I just told him to leave and I'll have our mutual friend bring the rest of his stuff. He asked me if we were breaking up over this and told me that he can't help he feels that way. He'll try not to voice his issues about my parents next time. I said to him that I can't be around him knowing that he's thinking of something negative while I'm around my family. Even if he's not saying anything, I'll see it in his face. I honestly don't get what his deal is or where his insecurity's coming from. Okay, if you look at us just on paper, he's definitely the more interesting one. He went through a lot of hardships as a teen, graduated at the top of his class, and participated in many different projects and charities. No one is denying this. I don't understand why he has to keep proving himself. I, on the other hand, am your typical med school applicant. Sure, I got good grades and did the required things to get in, but not enough to set me apart from other applicants like he did. I would have been happy going to a Caribbean school if I can just match residency. So yeah, we broke up. He texted me a few times. I still haven't responded, so he texted me with, "You know it's illegal to kick someone out without notice." I don't really know what to do about that part of my situation, so I'll have to figure it out. Thanks. It's your property, and I don't know, your property, you didn't have anything in writing. Who cares? So yeah, I'm glad you broke up. I'm glad your friend made you realize this thing. Boy, I wish someone would do this. Sorry. Yeah, at least, yeah, it's nice to see. At least it's done. These people, man, they don't change. I don't know. Like, sure, maybe some people change. But in my experience, none of the people who do this change. Like, at all. They're all the same. They all go back to their old patterns unless there's actual change. Like, if you go to, I don't know, like if you go to an actual therapist or go to a mental thing and actually change, it's crazy. The jealousy is palpable, and that's wild, bro. I hate this. This is so stupid, man. So yeah, well, that was bad. I hate that guy. In the last story, if I had someone like that, I would give them the stink eye and not try not to associate with them. And if they direct that shit at my face, I am smart enough not to engage in physical violence, but I would be like, I would clap back verbally. Shut up, you're not that important. Saibao. That's what I personally think. And yes, that is it for my. That is it for my thing. Let me. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Oh wait. Let's rename the thing. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Maybe I'll do this more. I really enjoyed that. Diving deep into this whole thing is crazy. I hate that guy. Verbal clapbacks. Appreciate it. Anyways, thanks so much. Bye.